Man, as far as taking out your 401k, it's a big decision to make. There's a lot of things. I have a playlist about 401ks, eligibility, rollover options, direct versus indirect, sequence of return risk, inflation risk, political risk, on and on and on as far as the 401k and how to maneuver it. Because I think the mismanagement of the 401k, which is a lot of the majority of people's number one cash source as far as their retirement or their savings source. And we really need to know we need to know the rules around 401k because we don't really deal with it. A majority of people set it and forget it. They sign up when they're 20 or 35. They look at the balances when they may come every year or something like that, or if they need some money, but they don't do anything else above that. They're into the same funds they were when they were 40 and 30. They they don't know the amount. They don't know how much they're making. They don't know how much the management fees are that the company is absorbing. They don't know none of that stuff. They don't know when they retire that there may be additional fees and management fees that now they have to pay for. It's not managed. They may liquidate it into a cash fund, so you're not even invested in the same thing. It's not growing the way it's supposed to. There's a lot of issues around the 401k that are hurting Americans as they retire. And they think, oh, everything's going to be the same when I retire. And that's just not the truth. And then also, we talked about the cognitive load earlier of actually making those decisions ourselves can be very hard. It's very hard for us to make those financial decisions ourselves. And we really need some help. We need somebody to make it a little bit easier for me, for you anyway. And that takes humility to say, hey, I've worked all my years. I made a lot of money. I just need somebody to help me make this decision. So at the last second, I don't have these huge taxes and penalties, because it sounds like fear, 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 fear. It's not that we're trying to scare you. We're just trying to make you aware and let you know how urgent it really is, because these 401k on paper seems very simple, but when you break it down, 401ks are very complex. Yeah, I do this on a day-to-day basis. So for me, it rolls off the tongue and it's easy. You do this, you do this. Hey, this is your situation. We could do this. The confidence in my choosing and my ability comes from all this stuff up here, you know. So, hours and hours and hours and hours of studying these things and seeing how different variables play a part in how to accumulate wealth and keep wealth and preserve your wealth. And that's what a majority of Americans want. They want to preserve their wealth. They don't want to struggle in retirement. They want to live a fruitful retirement where they're happy, spending time with their kid and grandkids, and not necessarily worry about the nuts and bolts and the finances because they neglected it for 10, 20 years. Because even me hearing some of these things, it's like, man, the general public, the Joe Blow, Jane Doe, who's watching this, they're not going to pick up on some of the nuances. They may watch the news report and say there's something I need to worry about, but they're not going to really get the urgency or some, like I said, some of the nuances of these distributions, these type of accounts in retirement in general, because everyone's going to go through it. Everybody's going to retire, whether you're forced retirement or voluntary. And we want it to be a voluntary retirement. We don't want it to be one where you're forced out of retirement. And how we do that, we just plan for that retirement. So if you need some help, as always, subscribe to the channel, all that kind of fun stuff, like, comment, share, all that kind of cool stuff. What I tell people too, thank you for the 14 subscribers that I have, but I tell everybody it's about showing up. It's not about how many subscribers that you have, because to be honest with you, how do I say this? My validation or my confidence as a financial advisor is not determined by how many subscribers I have. To be honest with you, is those plaques back there. It's also the titling right here. I put in the time, put in the hours. I have the education, all that kind of fun stuff. I may not know how to do all the hooks and all the stuff on YouTube and all the glitz and glamour. That's not for me. I don't need. Let's put it this way: the people that I'm talking to don't need things flying across the screen and everything else like that. Will I do that in the future? Maybe, if I have an editor to do it for me, but that's not me. My thing is, I need a group of people who are critical thinkers, who understand the importance of retirement. I'm not here to convince anybody to save for your retirement. If you want to be one of the 200,000 people, or excuse me, if you want to be part of the 20% of people who don't have nothing saved for retirement and you're going to have to be struggling in retirement, so be it. If you want to have only $200,000 and can't go or move wherever you want to because you didn't save enough, go ahead. That's your own prerogative. But for me, it's really about having people who are critical thinkers and understand this is something I need to prepare for. This is something I'm thinking about. What are the actionable steps I need to take? And the reality of it, and not just the nuts and bolts and these vague ideas. Obviously, we can't give financial advice. This is not investment advice. This is not tax advice. This is tax awareness. This is investment awareness and bring you up on some of the strategies that you can implement. Everything is going to be personal. I mean, there's no blanket statement to say this is right or wrong. Financial planning is not perfect. It's really just about increasing or decreasing your probability of success based on the transactions that you have. If you make this transaction, I could just tell you, hey, that's going to lower your probability of success. Yeah, you can put $10,000 here, but yeah, you can have $10,000 in debt. Keep it if you want to, but it's eating away at your assets. So if you want to keep $50,000, $100,000 in your savings account because it makes you feel financially secure, and you have this $20,000 in debt in your credit card, and they're charging you $400, $300 per month every month for you to feel financially secure, so be it. I've never in my life, I used to say all the time, I could make you a statement. I was like, listen, this is not, this, I wouldn't do this, but if the compliance officers are watching, I wouldn't do this. But I'm saying, if you want me to, and that's what happened to Bernie Madoff, matter of fact, if you want me to create a statement that says you have $100,000 and I'll send you that piece of paper every month and you give me $300, or let's make a deal. Instead of them charging you $300, give me $200 to do that for you, I can do that for you. But that's what you're doing. You're paying $200 a month to see on a piece of paper that you have access to 100. You haven't even spent it. You don't have the money. You don't have it in cash. You don't even have the money, and you're just like, all right, I'll do that. I'll spend $200, $250 in interest instead of paying it off, having a savings account near zero, maybe 10,000, 15,000, build that back up for free. You can build that back up for free by paying off your debt and then keeping that interest charge off your credit card, and build back your savings account to get to where you need to. And you can do it a lot faster because you have an extra $200. Come on now, right? But those decisions need to be made, and some people aren't ready to make those decisions. Okay, so now I'm really going over my time. But I really care about you. I really care about you. And like I said, the subscribers that come on here, I want a world of people who want to make sense of the world. Humans by nature are irrational. We're going to make irrational. I make irrational decisions. I'm not Mr. Cost Effective everywhere. There's some things I overspend. I'll give you a prime example. There's a store called Aldi's. You know what Aldi's is? Like a bargain grocery store. They have these cookies. They're Reese's peanut butter cookies. I love Reese's. They're like $5 for 10. So that puts you at what? Well, they're like $4.49. So what that puts you? A little less than 50 cents per cookie, right? I bought 3 packs, $15 for some cookies, 30 cookies for $15, 50 cents. That's a lot of money for a cookie, right? And I also know it's not good for my health. Eating that, and obviously I have 6 people in my family, so I'm not eating all the cookies. I'm eating the majority of them, but I'm not eating all of them. But still, I'm eating these cookies. I know they're not good for me, but that's irrational. Irrational to know that much sugar is in those cookies. I'm eating them. It's not good for my health. But guess what? I'm eating them because I'm irrational and I understand that. So for you as an investor, I know some decisions that you make are going to be irrational. But what I'm trying to do is mitigate your irrational decisions to cookies that are like maybe 50 cents, $1, than irrational decisions by taking money out of your 401k that's going to cost you $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. You get what I'm saying? Let's make the mistakes and the irrational behavior on things that are not going to affect my retirement. Me buying these cookies is not going to stop me from retiring, right? But you withdrawing money out of your 401k without the proper rollover, or taking an indirect and missing the 60 days to roll it over, that's going to cost you tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars for your retirement. That one decision, my one decision, is going to cost me maybe a pound or two. Right, I did the calculations. They're like 170 per cookie. That's 1,700. So if I ate 2 packs over my maintenance calories, that's about a pound that I would gain. Well, actually, it's 100 calories short. 3,500 is 3,400. I actually can have, I don't know, 21 and a half. But that would cost me 1 pound. If I ate 2 packs all by myself and a half, right, 21 and a half, I would gain over my maintenance. That means that I ate my calories for the day. Over that, I would gain a pound of fat, right? Now, if I squeeze it in to my maintenance calories, maybe not so much, I can have some more cookies. But let's say I did, right? I know that. I know that's going to be the cost. And I'll have to say, am I willing to do that? Am I willing to sacrifice a pound of my weight to do that? And those are the Those are the questions I'm gonna have to answer. And the same thing with your retirement. Are you willing to lose $10,000, $20,000 in the future? Are you willing to have less Social Security because now you're taking money out of your 401k to live, and it's causing you to have reduce your Social Security benefits, right? Your house is not paid off, or you want to lump sum pay off your house, so you take a lump sum, it affects your Social Security, and now you're messed up and you're mad, right? So those things take planning, and it takes input. It takes time. So if you're afraid of taxes, if you're afraid of fees, don't know what to do, you're really confused about all this new terminology for direct, indirect, sequence of returns, like I said before, inflation, custodian to custodian, trustee to trustee transfers, all those things are kind of, a foreign language to you. Go get some help.